On that sunny day, didn't know I'd meet such a beautiful girl walking down the street. See those bright brown eyes with tears coming down. She deserves a crown. Hasn't it been found? Mama, listen, Senorita, I feel for you. You deal with things that you don't have to. He doesn't love you, I can tell by his charms. But if you take this real low, then you can lay in my... Today's Throwback Thursday song is Senorita by Justin Timberlake. Now, if you haven't guessed it already, it's kind of tricky. The big thing about this song is the actual stretch that is going on as you're playing it. You'll notice that today I have a different guitar. The reason is you really need a cutaway to play this. So you need to have the guitar cut off at this stage in order to get these stretches. Right now, the first thing to draw your attention to is the position of my thumb. So usually if I was playing chords, it might be around here. Or playing other things like... But with this one, it is going to be down so low, like it's really down at the bottom end of the neck. So to get a better angle on it, you'll actually see that the thumb could be up here usually, but next thing, it disappears right down to the bottom. And as it does, take note of the way the shape of my fingers change. They're going to go from this curled shape to a straightened shape, and watch the rest of the hand suddenly come into view. So it's a fair bend in the wrist, which isn't ideal for playing a lot of the time because it restricts movement, but it's the only way to get these stretches. So the first thing I'd say is be really mindful as you're practicing it, because like Anthony, you need to kind of stretch into it and take it easy. Right, let's begin. So the first thing to draw your attention to is my index finger, which is barring across the 13th fret. Now, it needs to sound out the A string, the G string, and just by association it will actually bar on other strings too, even though we're not using them. Then I'm going to get my middle finger on the 15th fret of the B string, and finally then we're going to get the pinky, and that goes on the 19th fret of the E string. So you're stretching from the 13th fret all the way up to the 19th. Now the next thing is, for the song, any bass notes I'm going to hit with my thumb. Then I'm going to take care of the G string with my index, B with my middle, and finally thin E string with my ring finger. Okay, and we get this. That's your first chord. Then the next part, we just bring back our index, or we just bring back our pinky by a fret. So we go from... Okay, that's fine so far. So on the third chord then that happens, your index is still barring the stuff, but it won't feel as strenuous as the other ones. It won't feel as, tough as the other ones we just did. So that's down there. Then my pinky goes on the 16th fret of E, and my ring finger is now on the 15th fret of B. But note the way that my middle finger is actually pressed on the 14th fret of E as well. It's because that's the next chord we're going to. You're going to hit these again. Then take off your pinky. That's the fourth chord. So we get the first chord. Slide the pinky back a fret, keep the pressure on. Then change position. Your ring finger will go to where your middle was. Your middle is going to go down to the 14th fret on E, and then your pinky is going to come down to the 16th fret on E. And still make sure that the A string and the G string come out. Then lift off the pinky. Alright, so all together we get this. And the counting goes as follows. It goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now for the next bar. So what happens in this one is quite short but quite involved as well. If I'm making this sound a bit tricky, it's because it kind of is. So you get your middle on the 13th fret of E, ring on the 14th fret of B, then pinky 15th fret of G. get your index. Good news, you are only pressing with the 11th fret on E now. You don't need to bar your index anymore. So we get this chord. Then the next part we get is you drop your index down the string and hit the same thing again. Last chord. 11th fret on E, 12th fret on B, index on the 9th fret of A. So in terms of working on the changes, I'd work on that section on its own, getting used to going like this. Then I'd work on the intro section, getting used to go like this. And then the last link to practice would be getting from the first bar into the second bar. So you're going from this section into this one. A little tip I'd have there is if you note the fret numbers on the screen, you'll actually see that on this chord you're on the 14th and the 15th, and they slide down a fret for the next chord, and you add on the pinky. Alright, so all together again we get this. So it goes 3, 4. Alright, and if you might be looking at this going, my fingers aren't long or I can't stretch that far. What you can do, like my fingers aren't actually that long at all, but over time they just learn to stretch and get better at using angles to reach frets. Now, if you don't have years, of course you want to be doing this sooner than a couple of years' time, but what you could do is take out one of the notes. So as an example, I've done it once or twice throughout this video where I've taken out the pinky and just went like that. Especially as I'm singing it, it's one less thing to think about. And I still end up with that, which doesn't sound too bad. Instead of. And so concludes Senorita by Justin Timberlake, the main theme. So that will get you the intro, that will get you the verse and the chorus. Alright, and the breakdown towards the end. If anybody has any questions at any stage, post a comment below, drop me a mail, no problem. All my details are in the summary below. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this lesson useful, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit subscribe to keep up to date for further lessons. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.